Welcome back to another episode of Toy Tuesdays with Talent. I'm Talent, the X-centric collector, and today we're going to be covering another kit bash. This one is Morph. We made a Morph to go with our X-Men 97 figures, which is really just the VHS Morph and the Morph head that came from the Age of Apocalypse Morph. Let's get into it.
Cerebro activate.
Cerebro online.
Please pull up the file for Morph X-Men 97 Kit Bash.
Accessing file. Morph X-Men 97 Kit Bash. Morph Kevin Sidney. First appearance as Changeling. The X-Men number 35, August 1967. As Morph. First appearance. X-Men, the animated series. Night of the Sentinels, Part 1. October 1992. Created by Changeling, Roy Thomas and Werner Roth. Morph, Mark Edward Edens.
Morph's first appearance as the Morph we know from the original animated shows was actually in the very first episode of X-Men the animated series in 1992, Night of the Sentinels. In the episode, Morph pushed Wolverine out of the way of a Sentinel blast that seemingly killed him, but it was later revealed that Mr. Sinister recovered his nearly lifeless body, taking him back to his lab and planting a mind control device and twisting him into a demented version of himself, bent on revenge against the X-Men for leaving him to die. He eventually broke free from Sinister's programming. In X-Men 97, he is back as a full member of the team. In my opinion, Morph was pretty annoying in the original animated series, but in X-Men 97, he's actually funny and way more powerful than he was in the original series, making him an essential member of the team. Cerebro, can you please pull up the action figure?
Morph X-Men 97 Kit Bash. Kit bashed in 2024. Retail price, none. Aftermarket price, high, none. Low, none. Accessories, none.
So this Morph figure is what is known as a kit bash. A kit bash is when you take multiple action figures and combine different parts and pieces to make a whole new figure. Because he's a kit bash, there's no retail price, aftermarket price, and no accessories. Just the parts that I took from other figures to make this one. This is a fairly simple kit bash. I used the body from the VHS series Morph and the head of the Age of Apocalypse Morph. And I added two different hands. One is Wolverine's clawed hand, and the other is a yellow glove-fisted hand from the Uncanny X-Men Strike Force Banshee. Although I'm hoping we get a third wave of X-Men 97 figures, this kit bash fits nicely with the rest of the X-Men 97 figures. As I said, I wasn't a big fan of Morph in the original series, but in X-Men 97, the character really shines. And we see him use his powers in ways I wasn't even aware were possible. Being able to turn into the likes of Lady Deathstrike, Colossus, and Psylocke, amongst others. The show creators have stated that Morph cannot necessarily mimic the power of other mutants, unless it's a physical-based power, such as turning into a massive character like Juggernaut. Then he gains immense strength and density, however not reaching the level of power that someone like Juggernaut has. Speaking of powers, let's get into his powers and abilities.
Powers and abilities. Shape-shifting. Psionic powers. Levitation and flight. Superhuman strength. Superhuman stamina. 9 invulnerability. Regenerative healing factor. Expert computer engineer.
Morph's main power is his ability to shapeshift, which allows him to transform his appearance and voice at will to resemble who and what he chooses. His shapeshifting mutation has made it so that his body is made up of a Play-Doh-like substance. He has a limited psionic ability. This started out as a very limited telepathic ability, but it was later enhanced by Professor X. After the enhancement, he gained a limited telekinetic ability as well. In some storylines, it was revealed he also has the ability to levitate as well as fly. Morph has superhuman strength as well as superhuman stamina. Both are related to his shapeshifting ability. He also has a regenerative healing factor due to his body being made of a Play-Doh-like substance. He has been seen reattaching limbs that have been severed. Although Morph comes across as a silly prankster who downplays his intelligence, he is deceptively smart. He has a master's degree in computer engineering, which he has actually earned from Xavier's Institute. Okay, let's take a closer look at these powers. Cerebro, can you please pull up the power grid?
Accessing power grid. Analyzing subject.
You guys want to see these power grids for yourself? You can either check out the Marvel Metal cards or you can go to marvel.fandom.com. They have their own version of the power grid there. Alright, first up, strength. Morph is at a 5, mutant strength, just below a rocket engine. His morphing ability allows him to increase his strength to levels well above normal humans. You can imagine, he actually morphs his muscle fibers increasing their density, which increases his strength greatly, but it still has its limitations. Next up is intelligence. He is at a 3, straight A student. As stated earlier, Morph earned his computer engineering degree at Xavier's Institute, so he's a very intelligent person, even though he's always goofing off. I'm sure he was the class clown all his life. Okay, next up is speed. He's at a 2, normal human speed. This one is a bit confusing to me because, as we saw in X-Men 97, when he morphed into Quicksilver, he was super fast, which makes me wonder if he could increase his speed the same as he could increase his strength. But according to the Marvel cards, he's at a 2, normal human speed. Yeah, sometimes these power grids don't always seem to match up with the characters, and the fact that they constantly retcon the characters doesn't make it easy to keep up with what's accurate to nowadays and what isn't. So we're just going to go according to what we have. Normal human speed. On to fighting ability. It's at a 3, black belt martial artist. Like most of the X-Men, he spends a good amount of time in the Danger Room training with Gambit and Wolverine, making him an excellent fighter. Next up, stamina. He is at a 6, unfatigable. This is his highest level on the power grid. Morph does not possess fatigue-building poisons within his muscles, granting him phenomenal durability and endurance. In short, he could run forever and never get tired. This comes in handy when battling the likes of Mr. Sinister and the Sentinels. On to agility. He's at a 4, Olympic gold medalist. Again, due to his morphing abilities, he can make himself lighter and more flexible, making him way more agile than an average human without even trying. Okay, on to our final category, energy projection. He's at a 1, no energy blasts. Although he can take the shape of any mutant he chooses, that does not give him their ability. Although there have been storylines such as the one where Xavier increased his psionic abilities, where he was able to project psionic blasts. However, in X-Men 97, he has no energy blasts. And in my opinion, he does not need them. Overall, with his immense strength, his above-average intelligence, his keen fighting ability, and incredible stamina, Morph is proving himself to be an essential member of the X-Men 97 team. And admittedly, I was a little wary when I heard he was going to be part of the main team in X-Men 97, but he proved to be just as valuable a member as the other members of the team, as well as providing much-needed humor in a very heavy first season. Cerebro, before we go, let him know.
Be sure to check out X-Men 97 Reactions with Talent. Don't forget to subscribe.
Please do go check out the X-Men 97 reactions, and I would greatly appreciate it if you guys would subscribe and like the video. That's all for this episode. This is Talent, reminding you, keep collecting, and until next time, Excelsior!